Welcome to BrainMachineNetwork.com.
Video's on, audio is...
I'm wearing glasses today. Oh, she's wearing glasses today. Oh, no one's going to see this. Hello and welcome to Beasts, everybody. We are back with Leif and Caitlin. Leify Poo, how you doing, sweet boy?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Caitlin, how are you?
I am medium. I am actually poor. I'm very poor.
I was going to
just
say.
drove back from Toledo, Ohio. That was supposed to be an 8.5-hour trip, turned into a 12-hour trip. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. Don't ask. Mm-hmm. And, you know, here we are. And now I have a little coffee.
You came straight here for this podcast after driving for 12 hours. Mm-hmm. You are a hero.
I feel very good.
You're a hero.
I mean, I will pass out, but I will pass out with, that.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
there's
we
that.
got you.
I got here just in time for a hot one, baby. Ooh, we got a hot one. Oh, yeah. Baby cakes, we got Alison Leiby here, everybody.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you.
Funny.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to
Very
the show.
happy to be here.
She currently writes for the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I do.
They're in break, so we got her. We snatched her.
Yeah. I have nothing but time right now.
Hell
If anybody wants to hang out every day for the rest of time, I am around.
Yes.
That's what
Perfect.
I'm doing.
We'll take you.
Great.
At least for the next hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Great.
So
I scheduled you guys in for that. And after that, question mark.
Okay. We'll find you some friends.
Great.
We can do it.
Thank you.
We are very excited. You are our first swimmer we've had on the pod.
Oh.
You're like, we got a little double whammy here.
Yeah.
Huh?
The good old twofer.
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 Yeah, listen in. You got some hot buds going on right now, as in
Exciting
earbuds, not marijuana. Anyway, we're not talking about the big giant swimmer. What's his name?
Michael Phelps.
Thank you so much. That would have been great if I knew his name.
I used
it
to
would have
swim
been
with him.
actually fine. What?
Yeah.
We're getting right back into it.
Yeah,
right back
please,
into it. Holy
I'm just...
shit with the segues.
He swam for a team in Baltimore at NBAC, North Baltimore Aquatic Club, which is a big team. And I swam nearby at another club. And we would cross paths a lot. I don't know him, but because he's younger than me, which is fun. It's fun that he's younger than me.
Doesn't look it.
Really getting into that age where I'm like, oh, everyone I see on TV is younger than me. Every single it's weird just to know that like celebrities are like, I assume everybody's older than me, but they're all younger than me.
Yeah, celebrities, athletes. Listen, I can still be
athletes are all children.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're young.
They're babies.
There are coaches who are now my age.
Oh,
I was like,
God.
oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, I'm at most sitcom mom at this point. So.
Hell yeah. Hot sitcom mom.
Whatever. She's steady.
Yeah.
she's always getting paid.
Yeah.
There's always a mom.
She's got laugh lines. All right.
She does. Yeah. She's having a good time. She had a nice life and a pretty good marriage.
Yeah. Although every man could use some work.
Yeah.
Am I right,
when it
ladies?
comes to laundry.
Oh, what a
We're
sad
having
wrong with me.
I like it. Okay, so let's take it back to the beginning,
yeah.
baby.
I don't want to get
so
too far
you
ahead.
No, I like it. This
No,
is fun.
please do.
Oh, we
This
love
isn't
it.
going to be linear. We're going to go all over
Yeah.
the place.
Oh, that is the only way I can think.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's
Just
where I'm going right now.
Scattered thoughts and screaming.
I
That's pretty
couldn't
much-
remember Michael Phelps's name, and
That's
he has
okay.
like 49 medals.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you. So you started swimming at how old?
I think I was 5 or 6
Wow.
on the summer swim team, which is like all kids where I grew up. Like you do the summer swim team, like you're, it's just hanging out. And then I started doing it year round when I was like 10 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 10 to 14 was just swimming like 7 days a week.
Really?
It was like everything.
So it kind of came to you naturally?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I guess I would have been even better if it really had. No, I don't know. I think so. I like water. I like pools.
Yeah. Did you have a pool growing up
No.
in your backyard?
No.
Okay.
So salt on a wound there. No.
Is that because I always assumed like people who become very good at swimming just had pools in their backyard and then they were like, oh, I'm really good at this. And then they practice all the time and that's how they became Olympians.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty much that. No.
Really?
But like our neighborhood pool, our like summer swim club pool, had a team and you had to know how to swim to
Yeah.
hang out there in the summer. So
How
I
many?
swam for the team.
That's very cool. How many people are on the team?
I don't know, like 70.
70.
Like
so
swim
it's a big
teams
team.
are
Okay.
huge because the Olympic team is a specific size, but like a swim team can be huge because it's like, yeah, as many people as you want can fit in a pool.
Really?
Like, yeah. So it's not like a football team where you're not fielding a certain number of people, especially when you have like a meet that's like just one team against another. So there's 6 lanes. So you at least are putting 3 people into every event.
Okay.
So there's a lot.
And so it's like, because I was on the swim team for 1 year.
Sure.
I was
So
very
you know.
bad, very bottom heavy. And I was on it. I was like, how the hell did I make this team? I was always the last person. So I was like,
Somebody has to be last.
I mean, how do you not get cut? And then I realized they just take everybody.
Right. And they're also just like taking your money. You had to pay. You had to pay to be on it, I assume. So they don't care if you're good.
My
or not.
high school team? No, I went to public school.
Oh, on a high school team, I see.
Yeah, our parkas were from the 80s. You know, it was
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very
We
warm.
didn't have high school swimming, so we had to swim in a club that was like separate. So it was like an out of school sport.
Oh.
So then you weren't part of like, the varsity kids.
Yeah.
So you're just doing your weird chlorine thing on your own.
Oh, look
My
at
hair
this
has like
land
never
dolphin.
really recovered.
Really? No, it looks
I'm glad I
great.
wasn't blonde. Blonde people,
Oh yeah, it'd be a nightmare.
you get that like greeny,
Yeah.
weird. It looks
Ugh.
like wax.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
I remember the green thing and being like, haha, Shoshana.
Yeah,
But
I
her
know.
hair was otherwise perfect.
Yeah.
Like it was the most gorgeous hair in the world. I'm like, hi, chlorine, it turns green. I got something. But she was
The older I get,
everything
the
everybody
happier I am
wanted.
that I'm a brunette. I feel like
Yeah.
I see like blonde people as they get older, and I'm like, oh, the women just have to wear more makeup. And I
Right?
don't want to do that.
No, I
So,
gave up years ago.
yes, I mean, I don't wear makeup.
No.
And that's great.
It's exhausting.
Caitlin, how far did you go in swimming?
Oh, I played one. I played 1
You
year.
played a
That's
year.
how good I was.
She's really good at playing swimming.
Yeah, I played swimming. I did it 1 year because I couldn't do track because I had shin splints.
Mm.
And so they said that swimming was better because I was trying. It was my junior year because I was trying to go the college route for soccer.
Mhm.
So they were like, take care of those shin splints. And so I did swimming
Ah,
because it was supposed to be still a workout. But I never got a workout from it.
really?
Yeah.
Most people think that because you don't feel that you're sweating when you're
Yeah.
in water, but you are, which is gross when you then take a step back and you're like, oh, everybody in a pool is also sweating.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why there's so
pools
much
are
chlorine.
disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, they're
I
the
love
worst.
pools, but they're disgusting.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
That is so gross.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Uh-huh.
the pee you got to work out or look out for. But
Yeah,
it's-
no, it's the sweat.
Ah!
It's yucky.
Yeah, I never felt like I was like getting a total body.
I feel like it's this
Workout.
weird sport where like you're getting, because you burn an insane amount of calories. I think I was burning like thousands of calories
Yeah.
a day and like eating to match that, which was awesome until I stopped swimming and I was like, I'm
Right.
still hungry.
Yes.
So you instantly gain like 15 pounds when you stop. But because it's a sport that's not like hard on any of your joints, you never have that like, after running or after like boxing or something, like you're like, oh man, but after swimming, you're like, I mean, I don't feel good, but it's not
Yeah.
like that pain.
Yeah, maybe that's
it's
what I
a
was
weird-
used to.
Yeah. But
Because I definitely understand that it's so hard.
yes.
And it is like very skilled, and you have to be so strong.
Yes.
The whole total body. So it's not like
Yes.
I'm not knocking it,
Of course.
but I
No.
just don't understand.
Most people feel that way.
Okay.
And I think it's hard. I think it's hard to get a real workout out of swimming for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Because you have to know you have to be good at it to be able to do it as exercise.
I love doing those little kick flips though.
Oh, I love a
That
flip
was-
turn.
Oh,
Ooh.
flip turn!
I love a flip turn.
So fun.
I've started swimming again in adulthood because I stopped when I was like 14 or 15 because I was very, very good and then suddenly wasn't. And I was like, well, I can only be good at this. So
what happened?
I had a very different body then. It was very aerodynamic and lean. And then I have big boobs and a big ass.
Oh.
And that's like not great. Not at 15, but
Yeah.
a lot of like, you see a lot of like swimmers and you're like, oh, just nothing anywhere.
Yeah.
No chest, no anything. And
It's like the triangle body. They
yeah.
have the broad
Yes.
shoulders and then
the
very
real narrow little,
Yeah.
which works in water.
Yes.
My body does not.
So how far did you get? Like
There was a year where I was 16th in the country in an event.
Oh,
good
For an
Lord.
for an age group in a specific event, that's not like that's still
That's cool.
so far away from like Michael Phelps. But
No, but it's still very. That's very
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. What event?
it was 200 breaststroke, I want to say.
Oh, that one's tricky.
Not 100, 200. I was a distance events person. I was like,
Okay.
I will outlast everybody.
Oh man, foreshadowing was the breaststroke.
Yes.
Breasts
There
are
it is.
ultimately what brought her down. I'm so sorry. There, but now look at them. Now they're
I mean, and
now there's
great,
stars.
they're nice and low.
Yeah.
They're basically a fanny pack at this point.
They are
the whole
fantastic.
apparatus
They are
holding them up.
spectacular, but I'm only looking at
Defying
your eyes.
Gravity.
Okay, so 14. So you were breaststroke distance. What
Yes.
else did you do?
I was big on IM, which is individual medley. Which
Oh,
is also the name of a store in Atwater I really like, but that was just coincidence.
Hell yeah, Atwater.
In Atwater Village.
I don't know what that
They
is.
sell expensive candles.
Yeah.
All right. Love a good candle.
I love it. I just
Yeah.
like to shout it out because I have bought things there. And it has the name of individual medley, which I never bring up in a conversation except
Yeah.
for right now.
Perfect.
And IM is you're doing butterfly, backstroke, you're doing all of the strokes in a specific order, and you do either anywhere between 1 to 4. I liked 400 IM a lot by the end of my career, which is 4 laps of each, so 16.
Oh my God, that sounds
laps.
exhausting.
It is. It's just a grueling. It's the marathon of.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
of individual medleys.
that's got to be the hardest one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 200 breaststroke is the longest amount of breaststroke that's an event.
Look at you.
So I was just in it because I wasn't quick. Like I'm not a sprinter in anything in my life. Like taking my time on everything.
As you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those distance events when you're just like, I mean, it's just aerobic and you're just,
Dang.
powering through.
Yeah.
So I loved those events and I stopped swimming. I was good and then I wasn't good and I just like couldn't process that. And also like, it also hit the age where you're like 14 or 15. So you're like, everything else in my life is also a disaster and I have no idea who I am and what, like you're confronted with a lot of existential crises, just being a teen, going through high school. And then like I added this, like my whole identity is being a swimmer. And now like, I'm not the best. I can't handle this.
Yeah.
And I quit.
How did your parents take it?
They were thrilled because they were like, you are killing yourself.
Oh,
this
good.
is like, I mean, they were like, do whatever you want. They, I think they were happy that I swam. They were very supportive. Came to all my meets, which are just, I can't, looking back as an adult, I'm like, I cannot believe that you did any of that. Just sitting in like a hot, chlorine smelling, like building for just 4 hours on a Saturday. Oh God. And they would just come and I'm like, why are we doing this? Where was I going? I had a specific thing I was about to say.
It was
I quit and they were supportive, but I made the decision that I was going to, and it was a big deal because it was, my friend and I figured out that we in our careers, we swam for the same amount of time. Swam like 7,500 miles.
Oh my God.
Which is so much. So like, it was everything to me. And so I quit and it was really emotional. It was a big deal. And I happened to make that decision like the week my grandfather died.
Oh no.
And I went to the funeral and, it had been a long time. It wasn't some shocking thing. He's a grandfather. They die. Everybody dies. And so I'm at the funeral and it's all these old Jews, which is my family and like their friends. And everybody was like, identifies me as being a swimmer. That's how my grandmother and grandfather would talk about me. They're like, so it was just like a barrage of just like old people being like, so you're the swimmer. You're the swimmer. And I was having a meltdown inside, just like crying. And I was like, and they're like, you're very, emotional right now because, and I'm like, yeah, because of grandpa. No, it was because I was quitting swim team. I mean, just insane.
Well, you already got those hormones going crazy.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
It's a lot. Yeah. And then you got a whole new body and you're just like, oh God, I would pay to never never go back.
No, never.
No, I would rather
No,
relive
never.
being born than like being a teen again.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I'd rather just take a gamble on being older. Like
Yes.
I'd rather like just flash forward, be like, that's fine.
Right.
I
Yeah.
never want to go back, especially like middle school and high school. College, nope, hard pass.
Yeah.
It's a
No, I never
nightmare.
want to be young again.
Also, fun fact: I can barely swim.
Really?
I'm
Oh.
a night. Yeah, I'm god awful at swimming. Like I
Interesting.
love playing in the water and like floating around and having fun, like going under the water, but I can't swim for shit.
Really?
It's
What
bad.
do you do? Do you do doggy paddle?
Mostly doggy paddle.
Or a pool where you can stand up in.
Mm-hmm.
you-
Ooh, those are my jam.
Do you swim in the ocean much?
I mean, I wade in the ocean
Okay,
a
yeah.
ton. But yeah, no, like I'm not like just I can't
Out there
swim for
diving
shit.
through waves. and-
Oh, no. I mean I do, but as long I'm still standing most of the time.
yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair.
There's no actual swimming.
I just got very concerned for your safety.
You
I
should.
know.
Just right now. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I know.
You
Like,
need to know how
what
to
if you're
swim.
on a boat?
Well, so okay.
What if you're on a boat?
Well, that's the thing. I grew up going on boats. I'm very good in the water, but it's like doggy paddle.
Okay.
And the
but you're
thing
not
is,
going
like,
to drown if
no,
you
no.
magically found yourself in water.
No,
that
not
you
at all.
Stand in.
No, that'll be fine. I like to go cliff jumping, all sorts of great stuff. Like love the water.
So you could get
and
around.
I'm
You're just
comfortable
not proficient.
in it. Terrible. I'm a god awful swimmer. It's like
Well,
it's
you're
a lot
so
of
light.
doggy. I mostly just float.
light.
I
You're
just
very
float on top
buoyant.
of it.
I would imagine you got little bird bones over there. You're so small.
I know. I feel like the way like a leaf doesn't
Yeah. Oh.
That makes
my
sense.
sink.
goodness.
They just float at the top
That
of the
makes
surface.
sense.
There it
Oh
is.
my god, there it is.
Leafy don't sinky.
Nope. It's very.
we all
it's
know
actually-
that biology phrase.
Yeah,
Obviously.
Right?
AP
Oh,
Bio
God,
right here.
I really
Leafy
feel
don't
like
sinky.
yeah, I really feel like we broke through some barriers. Thank
Oh,
you.
God.
I feel better.
Okay. I'm glad. We need to figure out how to make you swim, though, just in case, because you could be on a boat, all right? The Titanic, it's just around the corner.
Oh,
all
you
right?
never know when
Yeah,
you're down
never
there.
You
know.
could just be like, "Whoa, I'm on a boat now." Like
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
Where I went to college, they made everybody take a swim test. It was like an old because it was on a lake. I went to Cornell, brag, and
Whoa!
now we'll get into the Cornell of it all.
Ooh.
They made everybody take a swim test. It was part of freshman orientation. You had to know how to swim, and it was this old, outdated rule because it's on a lake, but it's like very far away from a lake. But you're on the ravine, like it's on all the gorges that people kill themselves in. And so I think that's also part of it. It was very strange. But the women's rowing team was because they like recruit. Now I rowed the second I stopped swimming, I started rowing.
Oh, okay.
So I did that all through high school. So I was like recruited to go to Cornell to row for them. But
Oh my god, see chapter number 2, baby cakes.
Twofer.
But like the women's rowing team would just be at the pool when people were doing their swim test and just pulling the like strong people out, and they're like, "Do you want to try rowing?" Like, 'cause
Really?
there's nobody rows in high school. It's like very
Okay.
and there's money for it, or not like there's no scholarship money, but like the team is funded.
Yeah.
So they're like, we got to fill these boats with people.
Okay, so let's.
But then I show up and I'm like, I'm a good swimmer, and they were like, you should try rowing, and I was like, I was recruited to join. I'm already on the team.
You're like ahead of you. Is this my seat?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm great.
Okay, so let's go back to high school.
Great.
You just got them titties. That's
Yep.
great. And then
Great.
now, where do you find rowing? First off, and second, tell me everything about rowing.
It makes even less. I feel like I have done the sports where people are like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like people are like, oh, you just get in the pool and you swim back and forth. Yep, that's pretty much it. And then you're just a boat. Yep, I'm a boat. It's so weird. I love it so much. I quit swimming, and I didn't know, like, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland, Severna Park, Maryland, which is near Annapolis and
Okay.
Baltimore, and it is like a lacrosse. I want to say it's where it was invented because that's what it feels like.
Okay.
But like Maryland and Long Island are like the lacrosse meccas, and I grew up there, and so I played lacrosse my whole life, like for fun. But I was like, I don't really want to join a like team. Like I wasn't gonna start playing like softball or something. But I
Yeah.
was also not gonna not play a sport because
Yeah.
I'm a jock.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, I was like considering maybe sailing. I mean, what? That's even more insane. I think. I grew up on the water. So that's like there's like people who were like, oh, I was on the sailing team in high school, and you're like, oh wow, we're the worst people. We're exactly who you should hate.
Yeah.
But then my dad was poking around and was like, what about rowing? I mean, that seems like I started it right when I think people were starting to be like, hey, Title IX has left a lot of money for women's sports, and rowing is like one of the oldest like college sports. And like there was just kind of this like huge push towards like women's rowing, like right when I was like, I need a sport, and it was like, you could do this one. People were like, oh, swimmers make good rowers. I was like, it's not, they have nothing to do with each other, just the water. You're on top of it. You're not in the water. You're on top of it.
It seems, I guess
But
it
it's
does
a
seem
rhythmic
opposite.
thing.
Yeah.
And like swimming is a rhythmic thing. So if you have like if you have a good metronome, I like automatically go, no one can see this because it's a podcast, but like I automatically go right into that rhythm, like when I'm talking about it sometimes, which is insane. So I started rowing.
And what so when you row, is it
Yes.
is it another club event, or did they have it at your high
It's a
school?
club. Yeah. So it's a separate, Annapolis Rowing Club is who I rowed for. And we rowed out of St. John's College Boathouse, which St. John's College is the school where all you do is read the great books and there's no curriculum. And they
Really?
would just like be around smoking pot. And I was always like, that's weird. And now looking back, I'm like, they had the right idea. Honestly, like, what was anyone else doing? Just reading books. It's great. It's great.
So what positions are there in rowing? Are there positions? Or?
Yes, there are. So there's a couple different kinds of boats. There's single sculls, which is just one person and you have 2 oars. Okay. And then there's doubles and quads where you have 2 oars. So it's 1 person or 2 people or 4 people. Okay. And then so that's sculling, but then there's sweep rowing, which is where you have either 4 or 8 people in a boat and they're all in a line and you only have a side. So like I was a starboard. So like you just have 1 oar that goes off to the side and you're using that. And then the person behind you has one that goes to the other side and together you're a pair.
So it's starboard and port and which one's right and left?
I know this one.
Okay.
Starboard is the right side and port is the left.
Now in rowing it's super complicated because we are going backwards. So the rowers are going backwards. So I'm always like, it's the left, but it is the right to every other boat.
Okay, but because you're flipped around.
Yeah, because like the action of rowing is like your feet are in shoes that are secured into the boat. There's like a piece of wood and there's shoes on them. And then you're sitting on
Wait, the shoes are like a part of the boat?
Yes.
Wild.
I know. Well, they're like stapled into, it's shoes that are stapled into a boat.
So they're your shoes that are stapled.
They're not yours. They are a pair of shoes that many people have put their feet in.
Oh, so that's not
I keep doing disgusting sports.
Yeah, this is really gross.
There's a lot of germ stuff that like when I look back now I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that anymore.
So you did the one where there was 8 people.
8 people.
Okay.
So there's 8 people. You have sides or whatever. I was always, or very often, stroke seat, which is the person who's setting the rhythm for the whole boat. So you're the first, it's very weird to talk about rowing and what's first and last and forwards and backwards. But everybody's following me.
So you're basically the captain.
No, because then there's a tiny person that sits facing you called a coxswain. And I know.
Hell yeah.
Say it again.
And in high school, that was like very fun to get to say. Coxswain, Coxswain.
That's so many letters.
It's so many letters for what that word is.
They come up to that when they were smoking pot.
Yeah.
Huh? Say John. Huh? Reading those books. I'm so sorry. All right.
So there's a tiny person who, the smaller they are, the better they are.
Coxswain.
Because they're not doing anything. They're just dead weight. So it's always like a very tiny little person.
The only time that was ever said about a coxswain. Thank you.
High five.
I appreciate it. I had to get one in.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah.
There'll be other. There'll be.
Said nobody. Okay.
Hey.
All right.
So that person has a microphone and there's a speaker at every seat. And that person is basically like calling out what we're doing, even though the whole thing is just one. I mean, it's you're moving for like you're rowing. But in terms of pacing, and they're also kind of like almost an in-boat coach to keep you going because rowing is unquestionably the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It made swimming look like nothing, and swimming was very hard.
Really?
Rowing is hard on your body. Very hard on your body. And you can't see they're also steering with tiny little pieces of string that are connected to a rudder. But then they also like, if we're going off to the right, they'll be like, hey, starboards, like I need a little bit more pressure from you guys, ports ease off. And you kind of, the way when you're canoeing, you'll kind of whatever side you need to get. Yeah. That's directional. So they're doing all of that. So I was always just facing that person, and you have a very special relationship when you're stroke and cox.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all around here.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
That
now
was
we're
very
talking.
Fun.
Just
but also
stroking
the real.
cocks.
That's like the real. Like stroke and cox is a very specific, like important relationship.
Yes,
but
it
it's
is.
So
it's a
insane
very
to
important
say it.
relationship.
Yeah.
Extremely.
You got to know your partner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You got to know.
Yeah. You got to have the right speed,
The ins
rhythm.
and outs.
You have to
Oh,
communicate.
boy. Yeah, you got to
Very
communicate,
nice.
and it's always harder in the water.
Yeah.
Ha!
So you got to be careful.
I like that, Leify.
There it is.
Oh,
Listen.
Leafy the Leif.
Leafy don't sinky.
Leafy don't sinky.
Oh,
He
God.
slam dunked that pinky. Okay, I'm
What?
very tired. I drove from
Honest- yes.
Toledo.
Yeah, you were in Toledo today. That's crazy
It's a
to me.
different state. Pennsylvania is too long.
Pennsylvania is way too
Oh,
long.
and it's also the worst state to drive through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's
there's
just boring.
nothing
There's
in it.
nothing in between.
Ugh.
It's the worst. If we have any listeners in Pennsylvania, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
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 I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm
true.
sure
Yeah,
you're
no,
very
you're
nice.
actually very delightful. I apologize, but honestly, get stuff in the middle of your state.
Yeah.
There
please.
needs to be. There's
Just
nothing
something.
long ways. There's nothing if you're going through it.
Yeah.
Either going up. I had to drive through Pennsylvania to go to
Yeah.
school. It sucked.
Ugh.
It was most of the trip.
Yep.
Terrible.
Where
Yeah.
is Cornell?
Ithaca, New York.
I almost went to Cornell. We
Really?
almost, very close. I
would've
regret
been
not going. That
pals.
was really dumb.
It was very fun. I liked it. It's very cold.
I went to Syracuse, so I got
Oh,
that.
so
Yeah,
okay.
It was
You-
cold as
So you
hell.
got all of the cold. Good.
Yeah, all the cold. Just so many douchebags up there.
Yeah, it's a
apologize to anyone from
douchey-
Syracuse.
there's a lot of-
listens.
A lot of douchey people at all of the
So much
schools in New York State.
Yeah.
Whether they are state schools or not, it's just there's so many people in Long Island
Yeah.
that
Oh
like
my
have to go to
God.
college.
Oh god, there are so many people.
And they're
on
like,
Long
I'm not
Island.
going to go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope,
So
they won't.
end up in
Yeah.
upstate New York. and
It's
it
amazing
sucks.
how many people who came from Long Island but then would fly to Syracuse, and I was like,
Ugh.
that's like a level of money that I'm
people
like, I don't get
that would fly.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I knew people though that flew into Ithaca, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
What?
That's thousands of dollars. Like it's just barely an airport. So like there's like
Oh
one
my-
flight a day.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
I went there once. I was like, this is not like I've seen gas stations bigger than this.
Yes,
it was
it's
insane.
barely. So most people like flew into Syracuse, and then we
Uh-huh.
had to go drive there.
Yeah.
It was very annoying. Anyway, just some upstate New York traffic info.
Hey.
Okay, so you were rowing in high school.
I rowed in
You
high school.
You found it. You found your heart, huh?
Loved it.
Great.
Loved it. Found like and also it was like, it was all weird. It was all like people from different schools in the county. Because it's like there's just one rowing club. So
Yeah.
if you wanted, so it just kind of attracted a very specific. Like we all were very good friends.
Aw.
It's a very like where swimming is like the ultimate in individual sports. Like you're just by yourself underwater. You can't even hear people.
Yeah.
Rowing is this like deeply. I mean, you have to. Your bodies are in sync. You have
Yeah.
to be moving at exactly the same time, and you have to like know each other, and you're kind of like on top of each other the whole time. It's
Yeah,
great.
it seems like a very intimate, like the team gets very intimate. So
The team is
my
super
question
close.
is, when you started on rowing, was there any initiation or anything like that, hazing?
No, because like it's a when you start, no one knows how to row. Like there's a team will have a couple of boats worth of people. You don't
Sure.
just have like your 8 but then like, so everybody that sucks kind of has to start together in a shitty boat, and you have to kind of learn together, and you're kind of all coming at it at different times, if that makes
Sure.
any sense. So
Yeah.
like the team that was I love the 8, I rode 8s mostly in college, but in high school we had a 4 that was very good. And our 4 was like extremely close and like so
Aw.
tight, but it took all of us a minute to like get to that specific 4. Because everybody was, starting in different times, and then like you're in a boat with this person, and then like there's a lot of like chemistry testing that happens.
Yeah.
Like to use an industry term.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I mean, so like, and you'll have like, if you have like 2, I'm getting like a lot of intense flashbacks. If you have like 2 boats that are practicing at the same time, and you're trying to figure out who should be with who, like you'll do a lot of like halfway through the practice, you'll be in the middle of a river, and your coach will be like, I need you 2 to switch boats, and like you have to pull the boats next to each, and the boats are about as wide as your hips. Like that's how like it's this wide. Like you're not. They flip over, I think, pretty easily. I've
Yeah.
never gone under, not in a 4 or an 8, but I flipped a skull.
Good for you.
Because it's impossible not to.
I've flipped a few skulls in my day.
There it is.
Thank you.
You'll have to like pull the boats together, and the oars are kind of like on top of each other, and then like you have to like walk from one seat to another, and like there's nothing to stand on, and everything is fiberglass, so like there's only a few things you can actually put your weight on in a boat. It's just a bizarre sport that like really I can't figure out why it happens, but it's wild.
And like when you look at it, you're like, oh yes, this is the perfect test for endurance and power and
Yes.
strength. But then you just see it, and you're like, oh yeah, they just row.
Yeah,
it
you're
seems
just
so
rowing,
simple,
and it's like it's like a deeply like technical thing, and like all of the how you get everybody in order and together, and who's in the right seat, and is this the right boat, and then you have different like grips, and there's just so much happening with
Yeah.
it that like from a distance you're like, oh, all right, like it's in the background of every movie ever.
Yeah.
Like there's always like a boat rowing by, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And inside, like those people are like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, you're just like, ugh.
So I have a question, because like you have to and speed. So Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Get into
it's
it.
coming at you.
Ooh.
The person at the top needs to be very light, right?
Yes.
Does everybody else in the boat need to be very light?
I mean, the goal is to be as light as you can be, but being as strong. Like your strength is important, and like weight, like you're using your weight to push.
Yeah.
Because your feet are in, and you're on a sliding seat, and then you have your oar out in front of
the
you.
seats slide.
The seat slides. So you start kind of crouched, and then you're using your legs and back to kind of like push back, and the oar goes opposite you. So having weight and strength is how you move. So like and there's heavyweight rowing and lightweight rowing. There's a weight class. I was never a lightweight, and I deeply wanted to be one.
Well, I mean,
but those women were miserable.
Really?
I mean, it's like wrestling, or it's like it's like that whole.
I was wondering because it made me
weight is
made me think of jockeys.
yes, similar.
Yeah.
For coxswains. But for rowers,
Every time.
every time.
I'm
Every time.
sorry. I wish I were different. Continue.
But for rowers, like you just want to be as strong as you can be, and if you're heavy, you're heavy.
Okay. So it doesn't matter. It's more power over. Yeah. Okay. So you got a little meat on the bone. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Ain't no thing.
Yeah.
Because like in
I
soccer.
don't love that they call it heavyweight rowing, but
Yeah, that's a little rude.
I feel like it
it's
could
a
just be
little rude.
something else. Any other word. would
Any
be
other
fine.
word. Yeah. Just stronger rowing. How
Yes.
about that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Tall?
Yeah.
Tall rowing.
Yeah.
Tall.
Power rows.
Yeah.
That's what it
There we
should
go.
have been. There
Yeah.
we go.
Great
Okay,
name.
we're doing it.
I like it.
Did you ever have like an arch nemesis?
I mean, we had clubs that like we would race against a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have one like on a team.
Yeah, but like
other clubs, like rival clubs.
rivals. Did you ever like know those girls, or was it just?
You kind of like got to know them here and there at regattas, but you didn't really like.
Ooh, what's a regatta?
A regatta is a race. Fancy name.
I feel very poor. Does anybody else feel poor
It's
here?
a very like elitist rich sport.
I was like, wow, that sounds fancy. That
Yeah.
sounds like something
It's like the
people
head
wear
of the
white things
Charles
to.
is a big regatta that a lot of people know. That's in the fall in Boston, the Charles River.
Okay.
All the races are named after rivers.
Oh,
Whatever
okay.
river you're on. That's
Okay,
what it is.
That makes sense. Okay.
So you would see people around, but you didn't like know them. It's so funny because like then the rowing community is small. There's only not a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
And everybody goes on and does it in college eventually,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, if they like it. So you end up on teams with your rivals. I was like the Hun school was a big rival for us, and I rode with a lot of girls from Hun at Cornell, and there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Of weird.
It seems like rowers are just like generally friendly. They're just like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
hard for everybody. So
Yeah.
let's just do this hard thing together.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to work together. So
Yeah.
It's very.
How did Cornell do? How did they fare?
I mean, I have a medal from sprints.
Oh.
Eastern sprints is the spring kind of end of season after all of these like head-to-head races, and it's just the Ivy League. It's so awful to say out loud.
I like it. Still feeling poor.
I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, I hate Princeton. Like, it's just,
As you should.
yes. So we were the boat that I was stroking that year. We
So fun to say.
came in second.
You came in
and
second?
Got a silver medal. You pull up to the medal dock, and they put the medals on you while you're sitting in the boat, and that's cool.
That's great.
So we were good, but at the end of after that season, I had a massive spine surgery.
Whoa.
Never got to finish. Never got to keep rowing. I had to stop.
Round 3 of the 3 for now. Spine surgery.
Yeah.
What the heck
So I've had
happened?
3 of them by now, but like at that point, that was
Jesus.
my first one, and I had. They were like, I was like, is it from rowing? And they were like, I don't know, but you can't row anymore. Like, and I tried, and then I was like, oh no, you're right, I can.
So what happened?
I have like degenerative disc disease. I have degenerative disc disease, which is something that a lot of people have, and they just don't know it because it usually doesn't really affect you until you're in your 40s and 50s. But I was 19, and they were like, yeah, maybe rowing
It's
sped it up a little bit. It's just
pressure.
your discs herniate very easily.
Mhm.
So mine did, and
Oof.
disc herniations are no fun. And it's a certain, and now it's like a very routine. Like, I feel like people are constantly like, oh, I'm back at work after a week, and I'm like, yeah, that's nuts. Because when I had mine, it was not a week.
Really?
But I had like all these staples, and it was super invasive. Now it's like basically a laser thing where they're like
Ah.
fixing discs. But anyway, so I had that, and I couldn't row anymore, and it sucked.
How old were you?
Yeah.
I was 19.
No.
It was after my freshman year. So I only got to row freshman year. And I was like all set for, like, I was like, this is going to be great. I'm good at this. I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I have all those friends. And by the end of college, nobody in our friend group was rowing anymore because you just can't put your body through that anymore. And also you're in college. Like, I was like, we need to have fun. This is not fun.
Yeah.
Because it's early mornings, as people expect.
Really?
Because you want to go out when, like, the water is the flattest. And that is typically the morning.
It's like 5, 6 in the morning, right?
Oh
I remember when I was
God.
rowing in high school, and we would have. Also, we had to have practice before school sometimes. Not very often, but we would. Before certain races and stuff like that. But like, school started at 7:15, so for practice to be anything, like I was getting there at like 4:30, like waking up at like 3:45 and like getting ready for the day, and I'm like, this is insane.
Absolutely not.
Really a crazy way to live your life.
Good Lord.
I like don't wake up before 9:30 ever in my life.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, well, that's nuts that you did that.
Right?
I'm like up until 3:45 more likely than I am waking up at 3:45.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. So then you do Cornell. What do you study in Cornell?
English,
Good for
that
you.
useful.
You're very good at with your mouth.
Yeah.
I
I write the things.
bet the Coxswain would agree.
The Coxswain.
All right, that was it. That was the last one.
No.
No.
No. Don't limit yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Fly free. Don't
I
clip
w-
those wings.
Ah, I love rowing. Okay. So you Cornell graduated,
Graduated.
I assume.
Yes.
And then you went to
No,
grad
I'm still in it actually.
Yeah.
Just doing one credit a year.
And so now you're did you go right after you went to NYU for grad school?
I did, but that was like 5 years later.
Oh, okay.
So
you
I
took a
moved
little-
to New York and was bopping around in like the publishing industry and museums, and it was all kind of like that weird, like, it's like almost right. Like you're like, it was almost writing. It was almost comedy, but like it wasn't. And I didn't like it, but I also didn't know comedy was a thing that I could do.
Yeah.
So I went to grad school.
Yeah.
And then I started doing comedy. I was like, I'm going to drop out of grad school.
So smart.
Best decision I ever made.
I mean, that is
Not
just,
to rub it in.
Yeah, thank
Sorry.
you. No. I'm still weeping deep down.
Yeah, of course.
But that's fantastic because a lot of people are like, oh, like myself included, who was like, well, I'm here. I may as well just finish.
Right.
How long was the program?
I think it was 3 years, and I dropped out after 1.
Perfect.
So
Mine was only 2, and I remember one semester in being like, this probably isn't for me. And I just
knew
stayed.
as soon as I got there that it was stupid. It was interesting, but I was like, this isn't anything. Like, I remember being in college and being like, I like this, but this isn't a job. None of this is a job. So then I dropped out.
Good for you. And you say you still swim now?
And now, so obviously I've had a bunch of back surgeries and rowing isn't an option. And I'm just not a runner. I've tried many times in my life to be like, I'll just run for exercise. And it's like, well, that's not really for me. I hate it. And also I feel like my bones are made of glass. Like my whole body just feels like it's like constantly deteriorating. Cause it is. Doctor told me.
Fun.
So, but swimming is like very good on your joints and like not hard. And I know how to do it. And I really like it. It's just hard to do in New York because you need access to a pool.
Yes.
And there are not many of them here.
No.
But I live near the YMCA in Brooklyn.
Perfect.
So I started, and it's like cheaper, and it's like a full gym and a pool, and it's cheaper than New York Sports Club. And I was like, well, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Also, their prices are too high.
Yes.
New York Sports Club.
Too much. Who do you think you
much.
are?
It's like $100 a month.
That's too much.
Get out of here. So I started swimming again, and it's great. And I, especially that I'm not working, I could just go in the middle of the day. Doesn't matter.
Oh, so nice.
It's great. There's no one there. It's just me and like old people who are just like walking the length of the pool, and you're like, that's nice.
Yeah.
This woman like saw me. She was like, "Can you teach me how to do breaststroke?" And I was like, "I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I don't know how." She was this like lovely older woman, and she was like, "You're so good at it." And I was like, "Thank you. That's from 7,500 miles of swimming.
Oh, so many miles.
Yeah.
So many. That's back
You're
and forth
an-
across the country."
What do they say? An expert after 10,000 hours?
Yeah.
You're that
Oh.
times 7.
Yeah.
Oh, you are
Yeah.
the master. Bader.
Mm.
I'm sorry. I was
Coxswain.
going to say Coxswain, and I couldn't think of it fast enough. God damn it. And it still doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, but it's fun.
Thank you.
I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
It's-
Caitlin,
you
you're
saw
doing
the
great.
meltdown. Okay, if you see the Patreon, the meltdown is True. It's happening.
Listen, it's
yeah.
there it is. Oh, God, she's going again.
I'm
I
fine.
had a question. When you were doing the team thing and also swimming and all that, did you have any nicknames?
No. Well, I went by Al when I was younger, because that's what my dad called me, and I'm like, oh, you wanted a son.
I'm fine,
Allison.
Dad.
Yeah. He also calls me Buddy, and I'm like, I'm also not your dog. Like, really, Buddy. So my last name was like Leiby, like Leibs. Those.
Okay.
Oh,
those,
Leibs is
but
good.
no specific like to a sport nicknames. I don't think. No.
No?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's great.
Um,
Lives is a good.
Leibs
Yeah,
is good.
that
yeah.
works. Sure,
Still
it's
go
easy.
by- yeah.
Libety lib lib.
Yeah.
Great.
Lib,
I always
lib.
had like
right now.
nicknames, but like when we're playing the sport or whatever, it just came to be Leif because
Yeah.
it's quick, it's easy, it's
Right.
one syllable. That's
Yeah,
all you really
that's
need.
what you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Though F is hard to yell, like that, like Leif, like
Yeah,
it's-
and that is why to this day, if
like
anyone
Zach,
says,
you know.
exactly, but if anyone says like a long A word now, I'm like, huh,
Yeah,
what? And
right.
It's like no, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still answer it all the time.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Is there anything else we should know about the rowing world?
Are there any more fun words?
Yes.
I think is the
Fun
question.
words. There
think that's
are, but I can't like they like don't. I can't remember like what they would be like. They would have to come up. I can't
Yeah.
think of it. It feels like
So-
it's a different life.
Starboard,
Starboard,
port.
It is
coxswain.
fascinating how long. Like, listen, I've been thinking about this a lot, so I apologize if this gets really like
Please.
introspective. But it's fascinating like how long ago that really was at this point.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And it's getting weirder. Like, I was like, yeah, I did that a few years ago, and I was like, oh my God, it's been 14 years
Yeah.
since I did that thing we're just talking
Yes,
about.
exactly.
Yeah,
it's
wild.
so crazy to think
Mhm.
about. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's so like. And then I think about swimming, and it's like been weird to get back into it. Because I like it brings back like a lot of memories, and I'm
Yeah.
like, those memories are from like 20 years ago.
Yes.
It's so weird.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy, and it was such a big part of our lives
Yes.
and our current identities
Yes,
too.
100.
I still think about soccer.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
what? I haven't played in years.
Yeah. I'm
And-
always like making, I even thought to and then never did, emailing one of my rowing coaches to be like, hey, I know that this doesn't make any sense to you, but like rowing prepared me really well for what my career is now, which is stand-up comedy. Like she would be like, what's happening now? But like it is kind of this like, you know, it's like any sport, I think, but like rowing, it felt particularly any racing sport, I feel like it's really similar because you're just logging all of these hours just doing the same thing, and you're like, this is a nightmare. It's just repetitive, and it's like open mics, and then it's like, well, you have 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Right?
there it is, and like and
Show
that's-
up or
and
get out.
Races and erg testing like is exactly that.
Yeah. It's true. Like everybody who's done sports is just like it's crazy how similar.
They're so similar.
It's so similar because it's just like you said, repetition, and it's just like muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Just a different muscle.
Just a different muscle, huh?
You're coxswain.
I like it. It's fun. We're ending with coxswain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole episode is going to be called coxswain.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh no. Yeah. It's called stroking the coxswain.
Perfect.
Up
Perfect.
top, all around.
Nailed it.
All right.
Really nailed it.
Well,
Great.
Allison, thank you so much for being on Beast.
Thank you. For having me.
Where can people find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at Alison Leiby, ALISON LEIBY.
Perfect. And Leify Poo, where can they find you?
You can follow me at Bear with Leif on Instagram and Twitter, and also follow the network at Brain Machine Network on Instagram and Twitter, and brainmachinenetwork.com for all sorts of stuff.
Sweet. And my name is Caitlin Peluffo, Caitlin Peluffo, on everything, mostly Instagram because that's the cool one. And follow us at BeastPod on Twitter and Instagram. Again, Instagram's the cool one. And rate, review, listen, tell your friends.
It's really important. You have to tell your friends, tell your family, get people involved. It's a lot of work we put into this, and the more we see, the better we feel, and the better it'll be.
The more
It
these
really
days.
helps
We'll
us.
have fun. Anyway.
We have fun.
Thank you again.
Do you have any dates?
Do I have any dates? I don't know. I
Oh.
don't know where my face is right now.
Go to the. I see it. You're good.
Thank you.
Go to her webpage and check out Caitlin. I say it every week. You
Yeah.
have to see her live. So good.
They're very nice. We have to
Oh
go
my
see
God.
everybody.
Yeah.
Go go support live comedy.
Oh,
Yeah,
please
see
do.
live comedy.
Go see live comedy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Hands in, team. 1, 2, 3.
Three. Coxswain!
We didn't even have to say it. We already
No,
knew
we
what it was
knew.
going to be.
We knew it was in our hearts.
That was so
Awesome.
fun.
That was so fun.
Great time.
Thank you so much.
I can talk about sports all day.
Right.